Welcome back to the Football Terrace, another top six debate. Today we're asking the question of the panel, what has gone wrong with Manchester United? Tipped at the beginning of this season to be title challengers, guarantee for top four, maybe even dark horses in the Champions League. A team that finished second, signed Rafael Champions League Varane. They signed Jadon Sancho with one of the best goal contributions to game ratios in European football over a 3-year period. And they signed many people's goat in Cristiano Ronaldo. But instead of progressing, instead of becoming better, they fell off. And the fall off is one of the worst seen in Premier League history. So the big question, boys, is what went wrong this season?
I don't Man United.
We'll start with you're a United fan, go for it.
Oh, so much has gone wrong. Obviously, start of the season was, first 2-3 games was great. Ollie got the team flying. And then you start to see the problems in Man United when we start to play a team that's, don't really go up against us, that will sit back. I'll start with Fred and McTominay. For me, everyone knows that was a huge problem going into the season. Everyone knew that. And with the club not buying that, I think that was criminal. Then you got to look at, obviously, we expected Rashford to come back from the injury, kick on. We're not seeing that. We're seeing, I don't really know what's going on with Rashford. Like, he's not the same. You know when he came through when he was young, everything, you got the ball and you started to see him go at players. Now it's like everyone's like, oh, slow down your game. The Rashford I want to see is the one that just isolates that wing back and goes at him and tries to do whatever he can to get past him. When I'm not seeing that right now. What I'm seeing is hold it back, maybe try to give it over the top to Ronaldo and see what happens. I don't like that. Who else? Maguire. I don't even want to speak about this guy. The calamity that's been going on with him is absolutely criminal for me. It's just like, and they keep on playing him. The club keeps on playing him and playing him when you shouldn't be playing somebody.
He's captain fantastic. You've got to keep playing your captain.
The performances are great.
Do you think this is United players' ability being found out? Or is this a mental block that's, or a combination of the two? Because the players you mentioned, like Rashford, he's been doing it. Maguire, first 18 months, he was very good in the Man United. Yeah. Now, was he worth the 80-odd million? Was he anywhere near Van Dijk's level? No. But he was performing. His first season, we conceded something like 30% less goals than the year before. Yeah. Like, why do you think they've all collectively at the same time dropped off?
I think it's just, personally, I believe it's the season before when we lost that final, when we didn't win that Europa League. I think that had a huge effect on the team. And then for Maguire and Shaw and Rashford to all go, and Sancho as well, to all go to that Euros final and lose that too, I think that had a huge effect on the way they play. I felt like they just, not saying they gave up, but they're just a bit sluggish. It's just like, when am I actually going to win one? That's what they're believing.
I just think the pressure was finally on them. This summer was massive. Everyone thought United had one of the best summers in recent years. Yeah. And it was finally, when we're looking at them, Varane has been okay. He's had his injury problems, but when he's played, he hasn't been setting the world alight, but he hasn't been bad. Yeah. Sancho's finally coming into his own, playing in a more natural position than whatever Ollie was doing. Yeah. And Ronaldo, although he hasn't been getting 50, 60, like we're used to seeing from Ronaldo at the end of the season, he still had a good season goal scoring wise. It's the players who joined when the pressure went on, and now there's actually expectations, and it's, challenge. Yeah. He's done okay last season. He got second. We looked decent. Now push on again. And it's only the players who can't hack it that have went down have collapsed with it. Fred, McTominay, Maguire, Rashford. I mean, Martial would probably be in a better play, but he weren't getting played enough. Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw struggled this season.
What are you saying as a rival looking?
You know what, yeah? If I'm going to be real, I see what's happening to you lot happen to us, but in a different way. I don't think it's just the players. I think all tiers of the club are just got their own issues, and it's just become, it's fell from the top and it's just trickling its way down. I don't feel like mentality-wise, these lot feel like winners anymore. The whole we're Man United, it's just losing its pedigree. It's losing what it actually means we are United, You lot were feared at a moment in time, but obviously, ever since Sir Alex Ferguson left, there was going to be a drop-off. We all knew this. There was no elite manager at his level at the time for you to go and get, besides Klopp and Pep, who are now at Man City and Liverpool. So I just feel like mentally, you're not at that level anymore. And then, none of these players can hack it. They're all just superstars. I don't think you ever really had a plan when Sir Alex left. You just bought superstars.
A real team.
No one's developed really. It's just wrong everywhere. The players are just not the right type to, Pogba's come in. He hasn't really set the world alight. Okay, Bruno's getting his goals and assists. Sancho, he could kick on. So, he's found a little bit of form of recent. But, the Rashfords that have been here, Lingard, who was, good. He was meant to be good, at West Ham. You thought keep him. He hasn't done anything since he stayed. So it's a lot of these people that you put a trust in that just mentally I don't think are there. And it's because of a lot of things, I think, money being one of them.
You make a great point there about they're not being a team and there's multiple factors. I think it is too simplistic to just say they don't have the mentality. I think it's too simplistic to just say they're just not good enough. And I see a lot of people say that. I think it was Lee Westwood, the golfer, have a pop at Gary Neville because he was talking about mentality and professionalism. And he said, it's not about professionalism, Gary. They're just not good enough. And I feel like there's a combination of everything in there. But Luke Shaw's had another good game for England. He's got, I think it's 6 goal contributions in his last 8 games, but performances in there. I don't watch a lot of Brazil. I watched Brazil 3 times in the last year. Fred played, looked really, really good. Paul Pogba, every time he plays for France, looks very, very good. Varane, every time he plays for France, looks really good. Harry Maguire in an England kit is a different animal.
Van Dijk without a ponytail.
He's excellent for England. And yes, the system is different and it protects some of his weaknesses. But that's my point with the issues at United. We know what Maguire's weaknesses are. Why would you play a system that exposes the weaknesses? Manchester United have this absolute habit. We are not a team. We are not together on or off the pitch. There is never a coherent, consistent plan that you buy a particular type of player for, as an example. And we're about to renew Bruno Fernandes's contract, which I've not got a personal issue with. But my concern is, does the new manager want him? Equally, I'm like, but should it even be about what the new manager wants? And should we not be building a club ethos where this is the style of football and the type of player and the mentality that we want? We pick and build this. The manager that comes in to coach them, he has to mirror what we want. Now, when he's here, we'll take his recommendations. When he's here, we will listen to what he wants. But we've done it 4 times since Fergie. We've let a new manager come in each time, pick the players, re-sign the players, create the culture in the dressing room, how things operate behind the scenes. And each time it's failed. And then what we do is you get a new guy that comes in to start rebuilding on top of that. And you create this non-team-like mentality. And then you throw in the expectation. And I think you're bang on with that. Last year, it was almost like a free hit to a lot of people. And that's gone around a lot this season, the free hit stuff. But it was almost like, we're second. One of the best seasons we've had since Fergie. Got to a final, we'll be all right next year. I think the moment we signed Ronaldo and the world said title challenge now.
Yeah.
Or at least like you might be able to. I think they have crumbled. And yes, it's made their ability look worse. It's made their decision-making worse, their behaviours worse. But overall, we've built and placed these expectations upon a structure and a foundation that is flimsy, that has holes in, and it has collapsed in front of our eyes. And for me, when I look at what's wrong with us, it's all the things you've mentioned. And on Twitter, someone will pick, it's just one thing, Rashford and Bruno's quality. It's Pogba's attitude. Some people will be like, it's purely just simply the way, it is the way the club is run, but they won't go into intricate detail as to why it is.
There's too many issues with the way the club's run.
And it's all these things. And I look at this summer, and it's the most important summer since Fergie, because Liverpool and City are going to be on this trajectory for a while. Even when you lose Klopp and you lose Pep, respectively.
That mentality still runs through the
and
club.
What you were saying then, that style, when Pep goes, Man City aren't going to suddenly go to defensive football. They're going to stick with the tiki-taka.
This is it. What you won't see City do, City won't do this, nor will Liverpool. You could use the example for both. They won't see Pep and Klopp leave respectively and then go and sign Diego Simeone to replace him.
Yeah.
Because the squads are going to be invested in. And Liverpool are buying players now. And if they renew Mo Salah's contract, they buy new players now. That's for beyond Klopp.
Yeah.
They then need to find a manager that's going to get the best out of Klopp's squad. He may want one or two new players, but even existing managers want new players. Like it isn't an overhaul to go, right, I want 3 or 4 new players, because Klopp, they get 3 or 4 new players most summers on average. Everybody does that. And that's what United need to do. And I think fans need to do a lot more in terms of get off Pogba's back, get off Rashford's back.
Players
like it
don't sign themselves.
It's almost, there's that, and there's almost an element of, we've recycled and gone through so many teams, players and managers now. When will people wake up and realise that it's how we operate collectively that makes it work?
I think something that needs to be discussed is what I think with Melissa Reddy, who revealed that Rangnick hasn't actually talked with the club about what's happening next year. The whole reason you brought him in was so he can go into that role upstairs for the next 2 years, and he doesn't know what's happening. I
don't think the club knows what they're doing as a whole anyway.
You're a football club run by businessmen. I mean, it's just so mind-boggling as someone from the outside looking in as to how you're run. You've got someone there in Rangnick who wants to create a football club, but the people up above him and the people he's got to work with aren't what he wants or what he needs. You know, your owners, I don't think they understand football. They couldn't tell you an offside rule.
Yeah, but I've seen stuff in the press that sort of like, the club has kind of informed. They think Ten Hag would be a great fit because he's currently in a club where you basically coach the team. You don't manage the football club. And it's like, that's what I want. But there's this part of me that's like, are you just saying that because it's what we want to hear?
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm in this position.
I can't trust the club to make
and I agree. And it's one of the things I said to a lot of Gooners this year. I'm like, I know you guys have improved this year, but I'm seeing like threads and I'm seeing podcasts and stuff talking about how they're trusting the Cronkies again. I went, whoa. Like for me to trust the Glazers, it isn't saying these things. It isn't having 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 years of doing it. I'm talking about sustainability. Yeah. And then you're like, now we know that
on a different level.
And there's always going to be these new hurdles to jump. Like you get a young player that's killing it, who now wants a new deal because Barca are after him. Do our owners cash in, or do they give the new deal in the right way? Do they renew the contracts of players that shouldn't be staying at the club? Do we make more commercial signings or player signings? Until I see the proof in the pudding, I don't trust a word that comes out of their mouths. And the structure of the club is key. In terms of players, though, people want Maguire out, they want Bruno out, they want Rashford out. Do you see any of those 3 going this summer?
I see Rashford going.
That's
the only one I see going.
I think that's.
I don't think Maguire.
I don't think the club's letting them go, especially Rashford. Rashford's their goal.
Is Fernandes getting that new contract? Is he?
Fernandes won't go. He's getting.
So Fernandes is getting his new contract. United have this weird thing now to do with the way the clubs run, where they see we buy players for cheaper and sell them. City recoup money on the players. You know, Arsenal can do it at times when they don't release them. So they're sitting there going, why can't we do that? So we want 60, 70 million for Maguire. No one's paying that.
No one's paying.
There's reasons why you've kept so much of this dead wood. You wanted, 40 million or something like that mad for Lingard in the summer. You're never going to get that for someone in the last year of their deal. And Rashford, I think he needs a new environment. I think it's an issue with how he burst onto the scene. He burst on, had a great debut, and then it was almost like a lot of expectation placed on his shoulders for years to come, which I think has finally caught up to him now. And I think he just needs not to drop down so far. Maybe go to a Tottenham or an Arsenal, maybe go abroad and have a different perspective on it, and he'll find himself again. Yeah. You know how Tammy Abraham...
We could do a swap deal. There's a Dortmund striker leaving this year. Do a swap deal.
He's off to Arsenal, I'm afraid.
He's getting Arsenal, Haaland, yeah. No, I agree. Rashi, I kind of want... I think the club almost needs to sack... There's also talk that the club has found who its leaks are. And I'm not suggesting that they're talking about Rashford, even though they've all leaked different things at different times, whether it be self-preservation, whether it be transfer news, whether it be team news, they're all at it. They need to get rid and out those people as well. Yeah, but I also feel like a star leaving, like a Rashford, a star is in the club star, Maguire, someone
Big
leaving.
statement.
It's like they're going and
I
we're
hope it's
replacing them.
Maguire.
Yeah, I'd love Maguire to go
hope-
now because I don't think he's ever going to recover mentally
No
to
way.
be able to perform now.
No
I
one's
think
gonna.
he's done.
I think he
problem
could,
with
you know. I do think there's still a player in Maguire. I just think he can't be captain. I think we
That's-
done
that
it.
is
We
way
done it
heavy
years
on
ago.
him.
We done it years ago with Hippier.
For that to place him
Yeah.
as captain, that's a huge.
I mean, and these are the things. Ollie's to blame for that. And then, you know, Ollie we said about losing the final last year. We losing that final. I think the players went, we're never going to win something with this guy. And what's the club's response? New 3-year deal. There's no togetherness or thinking in the same way. Like the players are probably like, we love Ollie as a guy, but he isn't the guy. But he gets a new 3-year deal. Then everyone expects him to win. It's like, well, we know we're not going to be able to win with this guy. It
What's
ain't
the
quite good
point
enough.
kind of thing?
I understand it. So I'm not. That's why I'm not 100% against the players because if I think the club's being run in such a bad way we can't win, they have to work in that environment. Where I will challenge them is though is listen, Bruno, you signed this new deal. I don't want to hear you moaning about the club though because you don't need to sign it.
Yeah.
You don't need to tie your life down to this club. You're already a millionaire. Like, do you get what I mean? So there is criticism for all parties in here. But viewers, we want to hear from you. What went wrong with Man United this year and how do you think the club can be fixed? Is it structural? Is it cultural? Or do you just think it's about ability? Just buying the right players and having the right manager? Is it a little bit more simplistic than some of us think? Smash that like and that share button. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.